Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with the third part of the painting tutorial of Mortarion, and this time I'm going to show you how to do the weathering and the damage and the highlights to look on this leg to make it look like these two parts here. As you can see, I put some rust and I have done some highlights. So the first thing I will do, I will go apply Riza Rust. Okay, this is a normally applied as dry, but I think it's a mistake. Should be applied more as a wash, like the Nihilite oxide. So what I do is I really put a lot of water on a part to make it the consistency more like a wash, to have more control on how this is applied. Okay, and then I will start this paint on the different holes. Okay, so this is not the right, so we need to use different brush for that. So go, okay, and you want to apply this on the different holes. This will give a very nice contrast with the green of the armor and will give the sensation of rust. The other thing you can do is when you have a lot of rust like that, you can make it like drip down. Okay, something like that. Just a little bit. So apply this on the holes. Okay, I will try to do as much as I can of this leg on camera, but as I explained, this is going to be. Then the other thing we need to do is, as you can see on these spikes, I already did. Sorry, I have this middle there. Okay, again, very thin. We apply this at the base of this type of spikes that we have there. Okay, so because normally the parts that are more exposed, they are polished by the friction with other parts, but the base and the holes are the parts that are going to be oxidized. Here we can apply as well on the hole. Okay, this we can apply. We don't need to fill. I recommend to fill the big holes, but some of the small you can leave it as they are. Here that I will, another thing that you can do, this thing that I did here was looking like was a mistake from my cleaning. You can transform sometimes the frame into a part of the miniature. Okay, like if it's looking, then we are going to do. Okay, so I will do the same on the back and on the rest of the leg. Okay, keep applying this orange oxide rust on the different damage on the armor, and I come back once this is done. So once this is done, as you can see, next step I will start doing highlights, and to do that I will start using a stricken green that is more, have a little bit of blue tone, and I will use this together with the previous color that I used, that is Death Wall Forest. It was the original color before doing the wash. Okay, so this was the base color, so I go for a good brush. So what we want to do is We want to keep the dirty look, but we at the same time we need to clean up and enhance the edges, right? So this looks more strong transition at the beginning, but you will see once this is done. And I like to highlight doing this type of side strokes, because this will give the sensation of also damage. So I'm going to apply as well here in the middle. Okay. Then I realized that I missed some of the points. It's normal that you have to miss some of the there I go there. I'm using no Castellan Death Forest Green. Okay. As you can see, I try to keep also this same direction for the strokes, vertical strokes. Okay, and now with the streak in green. So highlight here, I will add here. So we want to also touch all the rivets. Applying, as you can see, when it's dry, is not that strong, the contrast. Okay, so we'll do these ones that I left. I forgot the orange. Then on this rivet here, we are on this rivet, on this rib here, or this edge here, we are going to do the same. Okay, vertical strokes, and then with the other green. This is just the first highlight. As you can see, there is much more highlight there, and this will come later on. Okay, we are going to do the same at the back. So here at the back, we are going to do the same type of highlight. You can see I go deeper with the dead forest, and then with the other green I just do the edge. Here I will touch the different rivets. Okay. Here I will also do, so I will keep doing all these highlights. So for example, one that is clear that we need to do is this one here. Then we can do the green. And doing this broken highlight, as I call it, very small, increases the sensation of the damage on the armor. Okay, so I keep working on that, and I come back once this is done. Step, I'm going to work on the copper parts, and I'm going to use Sycorax bronze, copper bronze parts. Okay, I'm going to apply this on the rivets. Okay. We're going to do as well on the edges. This will give some, create some brights, but mainly what you want to hit is the rivets and the parts that are more exposed. For example, this part is the deal. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do this. And then, once we have the highlights we want, for example here I will go as well here, this part here. We're going to highlight a little bit that part here. I don't like to go to the super bright gold looking like that Games Workshop use. I prefer this more dirty bronze. Okay, I do the same here. These are like the black gibbonates. These are big black gibbonates from this guy. Okay. Just to add some brighting points. Then I'm going to use Nihilate oxide. And this Nihilate oxide will give a very nice blue contrast with the green and the orange, but we'll need to use it with moderation, so we don't want to overdo. What are places where I like to do it is, for example, around big rivets, like this one here. Okay. If we have damages, like here on the boot. Okay. This is too much, you want to illuminate a little bit. Okay. I like to put it as well on other areas. Just some random parts, because this will kill the brightness of this. And then of course I will put as well on the bright grenades, especially for example each time you have like a joint, rivet, some places like that. This will give the sensation of rusted. Okay, the rust normally starts, as I said before, on the crevices, on the deeper parts. Okay, we can put, for example, I'm not sure if this part is going to be too visible, to be fair. The cloth will go on top of this. So, but I like to just put a little bit. I'm going to put as well on some of the small rivets. Okay, but I try not to put too much, just some random. This is too bright, and then we move it down. Here we can put it on the. Some parts we can be a little bit brighter than others. But the idea is to add this rust in a random way that makes look. Especially if you see the part that is very clean and you want, this will help. For example, we can make this. Or here, imagine that here you have ox oxide, and then it's dripping down, and you have also this one. You can put it a little bit here. Okay. Then I like to put it. This can be damaged by other reasons, but don't put it, for example, on is more. This will go more on the crevices. Put it on this one here. Okay. And I think this is good. Maybe I'm missing a little bit there. Let's put it here a little bit. Okay. This gives quite a nice touch. And the next step I will do, now I will use a very bright green, and I will do the highlights that you see there that are quite bright. Okay, so to do that, I'm using this one, khaki. Okay, this is a very light green. It's very white, so you use it with a lot of moderation. Maybe you will need to retouch with the striking green later on. But what we do is, we only apply it in the places where it's more, it's more exposed, and this will give the sensation. We do the rivets again, especially the most spot rivets. Okay, then put this rivet here. We can do something like that. Okay, and this light is not neat in too many places. Remember here that we have a battle damage. We can do here and here, and this will make pop up this damage on the armor. This one you want to use it with a lot of moderation. The other place will be here, but I decided to go with Cooper, so it makes no sense to do it there. Okay, and this part is going to be hidden, but we can do, for example, this part is going to be more visible. Okay, as you can see, I do very short vertical strokes. We can, for example, do here. We can do the rivets if you want, but I will not do all. I will more than the rivets. I will just do this. The point is adding these small touches. This is going to be covered, because one thing we have to take into account that I need to put this piece of cloth on top. So it's important to have more or less idea, okay, which parts of the leg are going to be more visible. Okay, so this way, this part here is important. So we can add, for example, on these rivets. Remember, there is still another part that goes at the back, but this part is going to be visible. So it's interesting, and then we can put a little bit here. You see, this will give an extra detail, extra bright, and so on. So this way I want to put the other cloak to see if what I'm doing makes sense or not, because you don't want to work on things. You don't want to highlight too much parts that are very hidden, right? I think this is making more sense. And yeah, this will be the highlights there. So now let's work on the one part that I left in purpose on the other leg, that is the skull. The skull was just the base color plus the wash, and now I'm going to use first flat one flash, okay, to highlight this a little bit. So we want to do the teeth, okay, again, okay, and we want to highlight here, and I want to clean up around the edge. We want to do something like that. This is the old symbol of the death guard. Okay, so now we are ready to go to work on the clothes. So as you can see, now I have glued the other side of the cloth, because I want to start now painting the clothes and see how everything will interact. So we see that some clothes will be visible at the back. I am also doing this cloth here because it's going to be the same technique, so to avoid to repeat. But even with once this part is glued in position, the back of the armor will be visible. So it was good to do that before doing the cloth, because we had a good access. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the front. I'm going to do some highlights first on these bells that are hanging or holding the plague grenades in position. Okay, what I'm applying now is Gothor Brown, that was the base color first. Okay, to highlight a little bit some of the parts. And now I'm going to use Bayonet Blade Brown. Okay, it's much lighter, it's almost a cream color. To do some edge highlighting. Okay, want to do this here. What we want to give is a sensation of, first give contrast with the bronze, that was the color of the grenades. Okay, as you can see, I'm keeping everything with quite earthy and colors. I think this is much better for me with what we can expect from the color scheme we can expect from Mortarion. Okay, something like that. And now I'm going to do this cloth here in the middle, that is the most visible one. And you can imagine that the other parts are going to be done in the same way. So I keep Gothor Brown with me. First I go with Bayonet Brown, and we want to thin it down a little bit, and we first highlight the different folds, okay? mistake there. I like to correct the mistakes at the moment. I will use also Dryad bark in that case, so I keep Gothard brown, Mainbred brown and Dryad bark. Here to correct this small mistake, we can apply a little bit of Dryad bark. Okay, the Dryad bark I wanted to make the recesses even deeper in color. Okay, with very little paint, and we work the recesses. I like to do a little bit of blending. So of course we did the wash to help us, but we want more control in that case in the clothes than the wash, and this is why I'm using now Dryad bark to darken a little bit more these parts. Okay, I will also darken this, and we are going to put some of these around the holes or around where the clothes are broken. Okay, here I will do it there. I can put it as well here, and then we contrast this with the cream color, so I will use a little bit as well here. Okay, then we can even use a little bit of Gothard brown. This will change a little bit the tonality. You see, it's a little bit different, but we can mix it quite nicely with Dryad bark. So we mix the two colors together. We'll have a nice transition, and then we go to Mainbred brown. That is, let's say, before it's like a creamy color. You can keep Mainbred brown, for example, here to give a little bit of contrast. We can put it just in one side of the cut. Okay, and just keep the edge and use the Gothard brown. Now I'm using the Gothard brown. So we want to give this earthy, leathery aspect to the cloth. Okay, I apply a little bit more of Mainbred brown on the top, and I will apply just a little bit of, here the white we're doing quite a nice job, so we don't need to put too much Gothard brown. We have to be careful with Gothard brown because it covers very well. Sorry, Gothard brown, Dryad bark, because it covers very well. It's a base paint, and we will cover over any color. So it's, but this is how I want it to look. So you see, here I already did this one. We have this one, and now I'm going to work this off camera. No need to spend time here now in camera to show you how to do this. The only thing I will do now first is I will apply a little bit now of Gothard brown here to smoothen a little bit more this part. Okay, it will help to give, playing with the browns, with 3 browns and mixing them and blending them will help to give these colors. I prefer this. I don't like to use, let's say I want to go for, it's a traditional but deviating. I don't want to use the purple colors on. So I'm going to work the other side of the cloth. Okay, and once this is done, we are going to work on the tubes. Okay, or I can, yeah, let me go work on the other side and then I will work on the tubes. This is how the clothes look like, no? Okay, I like to keep this healthy, dirty look on the clothes, but being also tight at the same time. So let's paint now these tubes we have there, okay? And to these tubes I want to enhance the flesh looking tubes. So we are going to use Bookman's Glow, what was the color we use, okay? This is the color we use, but of course now it's going to, yeah, we remember that we have applied the agate air shade wash, okay? So we are going to apply a little bit of that, and we are going to use as well Cadia Flesh Tone to give this fleshy look to these tubes. This is, as you can see, I keep on the, I try to keep everything on the desaturated side, even this look of brown looking, okay? So I try to do this. What is more important to work is here on the side. So I work it there, especially with this stretch, just with a lot of passion. We highlight these tubes, okay. Combining Bookman Glow with Cadian Flesh Tone, okay. So the brighter points are going with Cadian Flesh Tone. Here I'm just applying now, it's a mixture more or less. Okay, let's take more Bookman Glow. Let's keep it. But I really like, I experiment these colors first on my Death Guard when I painted them some years ago, and I think this combination works very well. Sometimes we associate just the colors with the name and then we only use it in some, on some parts of the miniature. But I think it's important to think beyond the name sometimes. Not because it's a flesh tone, only can be used as a flesh tone. Okay, those zones. Okay, so I will do the other leg, and I come back to show you other parts. I will do that like later on. The other thing I want to show you now is we also have the stitches on the cloth. We have these things here. I'm going to use Flayed One Flesh to make them pop up. Okay, we take a little bit of Flayed One Flesh and we touch them one by one. You see, you have this very nice looking. So I will complete the other stitches we have, stitches or these things. I will complete the other tube and I come back to do the next steps. So as you can see, I have done all these, and I have also done the tubes here, and now the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the outside of the cloth. and I will use again paint blade brown to give the base color. So again, this is going to be quite a fast paint job, only being careful not to dirten the part that is the inside that is already done. And we are going to paint all the cloth outside. As I said, I want to keep it with these earthy colors, okay, and then I'm going to go for mustard yellow on the smoke to give the sensation of this toxic smoke. So I will do this, I will paint all the clothes with Benedict brown, sorry, and I come back you to show you how it looks like. So the clothes have been done, you can see, and now I'm going to use iron breaker to do this type of chainmail that have all mixed with the clothes and to do all the change. So as usual, I'm just applying base colors, okay, first, and then later on we are going to go for the washes and highlights and weathering as we did for the legs. So, and the chainmail, try to be careful not to clog the detail, okay. You can even go, you don't need, if you don't see that the black is disappearing, you don't need to make it to cover it completely. So you want really to, what I do is I go with the brush, I go with not too much paint. It's not a dry brush, but what I try to do is to go with a small amount of paint, and we don't need to paint the holes or the spaces between rings, so you want to really touch the rings. You can see it's not a dry brush, but it's not far from that, okay. So we are going to do that, and we are going to do the chains as well, okay. The chains, we'll do them in metal, especially this chains like that and this chains like that. Yeah, I will do all these chains in metallics, okay, and then we are going to contrast all these metallics with the coppery bronze colors we are going to use for the incense bearers, that are these balls around, hanging around the clothes. So I'm going to do that, okay. I do all this and I come back once it is done. I have done all the metallic parts, and now I'm going to use Kwiek khaki, that is going to be the base color for the skin. So I'm going to put this on this part here that looks like the neck, okay. Although most of this is not going to be visible, I prefer to do it and paint it just in case, okay. And I'm going to apply this as well on these things that looks like flesh. I will do them like flesh going out of the armor, like nasty flesh, okay. So it's going to be like that. Be aware that here we are going to have the wings, and we are going to have a lot of this is going to be covered, okay. But anyway, example here, it's quite difficult to know what is what sometimes. It's really a big mess of things, crystals mixed with flesh and mixed with cloth. Okay, but I will use this here as well. Okay. Again, this is Kriek Kaki. And I want to be give this sensation of like flesh flowing out. So it's okay, so I will do that and I come back once this is done. So this is how it looks like. Next I'm going to use black and I'm going to paint this with black. Most of this is going, almost all of this should be covered by when we put the arms. But just in case a part is a little bit visible, we want it to be black. These are the joints of the arms, so just to be sure that it's not visible once the arm is put, we add black here. So this will guarantee that nothing is visible. Okay, so just do that. So I do the two things in black. Okay, next step, I'm going to use Balthasar Gold, and we are going to paint all the things we want in bronze or copper in Balthasar Gold as we did on the legs. So as you can see, I'm really following the same steps that I did in the legs. I go back to bigger brush for that. Okay. And I'm starting with that because I want to paint also this top of the armor on Balthasar Gold. I want this also to have this bronze looking like deposits. So I do this. Okay. We can do if we want later on details, but we can paint all these on Balthasar Gold. And then if there is any detail we want in green, we paint it later on. We can leave this to connect. Here we need to connect some tubes, so we can leave middle, but as usual, just a thin layer of Balthasar Gold on this part, and I'm going to do also this type of incense bearers. So next, I'm going to use Bookmark's Glow for these things on the top, where the smoke is coming off, and also for the corrugate, or for this tube, for the coating of the tube, or I don't know, of the cable, as we did on the legs. Okay, so as I said, I really like to use this type of fleshy color. Some of the parts, and I think on Norgal it works very well. I did the corrugate inside with the iron breaker as we did on the other tubes. It was done. So we're painting this as we did the other tubes on the legs, and we are going to use also this flesh tone on these things. I want this to look like a flesh type of thing that is exhausting smoke all over the place. Okay, so I'm doing that. As you can see, I'm just doing base colors, so I will do that and I come back once this is done. So next step, I'm going to use Valor Brown to do the smoky parts, at least the ones that are no attached, we are going to use the same color for all the smoke bars. So here on the cape we see that it's like a smoking at the end, like if it's the cape is transforming into smoke. We're going to do this transition later on. Another thing we are going to do is we are going to apply this on the base of the cape, basically, but it's a cloth. We're going to put this also as well there. This is going to be the last base coat color I will apply before doing the wash. So I will glue it once this is done. So I do that and I come back to you to show how it looks glued. And yeah, I will finalize here this third part of the tutorial. I think it's a good moment to stop just before doing the wash and showing you how it looks like after applying the base colors. So the things are progressing quite well now. I hope to have more time to be able to continue with the tutorial. Yeah, during the holidays it was difficult to keep working on that because I'm not in a quiet zone, so it was not easy to record. But now, yeah, I expect these days I will be able to go faster. So I will finalize here this part. So let me just paint that, glue it on the base, and I show you how it looks like before doing the washes. So this is how it's looking like now. You see I have pointed all these smoky areas here and also on the top. The Norgling will be done, or the flying Norgling, or how I don't know how to do it. I will do it apart. But now the next step is to glue this on the base before doing the wash, because if not it's going to be impossible to manipulate. So I will finalize here the tutorial. Here is the finishing of the part 3. And now we are going to go to part 4. This is going to be the next video where I will do the weathering and also I will do some of the, well, first the shading, highlights, weathering as we did on the legs, but now we are going to work on the cape and on the chains. As you may see, there is one part missing, that is the back. I decided to do this unglued. Okay, and here I was start testing how to experiment on the chains. So, but of course this part is going to be done at the same way as all these parts. So I will do this out of camera because it's not adding value. So it's more of the same. But here you see how it's progressing, and now I will glue all this on the base, and later on I will glue this part at the back. This is going to be done separately because it's going to be easier to paint this Norgling and also this incense bearer there. So here we have part 3 done. I hope you have liked it. We did the weathering of the legs, and then we did all the base color for the cloth, chains and the smoke. So that's all for now. Give a like if you have liked this video, leave the comment below, let me know what do you think. And as usual, thanks a lot for watching and see you again later. Bye.